Hey everybody, good morning and welcome back to Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host, Anne, and disembodied hands Quindy. Since apparently John is absentee, I'm not going to give him credit. That be what it is. Hey guys. Oh yeah, no Reaper Live. We're all just going to take Thanksgiving off. Maybe it's just Reaper Undead for a while instead of Reaper Live. No. I mean, you don't have to work at a real job anymore, like Quistonoma, so you're like me. It's like remembering the day of the week is optional. Although I do actually get weekends, so I guess I do remember when a weekend is imminent. But, you know, as far as day of the week, sometimes it's a bit dicey. Hey, Crows, thanks for the resub at 27 months. Lovely, thank you so much. Oh, there's Reaper Ron. Whoa, I needed to give Reaper Ron credit instead? Hi, Ron! Hi, how are you doing? Long time no babble. I hope you're doing well. I'm going to be emailing you about a mythical painting book that I've started to write, finally, after 20 years. And I want to use Reaper stuff in it. So anyway, expect that email over Thanksgiving. You probably won't check your email till you're back anyway. You don't want to spontaneously figure out how to write yourself. I think Ron's head just exploded a little bit, Quindy. 12-year-old tech gurus. I don't know. Is that your son, Ron? Do you have a 12-year-old tech guru in the house? That's funny. All right. Well then, we're doing Mermaid today. Reading Idiot's Guide is streaming right now. Yeah. I was just thinking this morning about if I sat and read a book, I might actually become, or watched a bunch of videos, I might actually have a better YouTube interface. But then I was just like, do I really need one? That just takes time away from actually doing videos. So, all right, let's get some skin highlights on this lady. I think I want to use something pretty warm. So what's now called Peachy Flesh. Peachy Flesh. We'll use the Peachy Flesh. I thought about the rosy skin because she has a very rosy skin tone, but in highlights I tend to get a bit more golden, so that be how it be. Slayer, hey. So yeah, let's get that skin up to the level where it's actually at the level with the hair. So let's get in focus. There we are. Shiny, yes, because the hair got so shiny last time we painted her, last week actually, because we were actually putting the highlights on. Now I want the skin to come up a bit more. I haven't really pumped it up to almost pure white. I feel like I want to. So I've got a strong light otherwise, so that means the skin also needs that strong light. Yeah, I like her purple hair a lot, and I like her color scheme in general. The anchors can be a bit of a pain, but we'll essentially take that big chunky thing and put a lot of rust spots on it, so it'll make it more interesting. So let us get our youthful flesh out. So I'm going to have some pure youthful flesh, and then I'm going to mix an off-white by using 1 drop of this. Sorry, it's peachy flesh now. 1 drop of the peachy flesh with a couple drops of pure white to bring it up. Yeah, but his degree in computer science is probably older than the mouse. Much older than the mouse. That stuff, yeah, you have to keep current on it, turns out. Mouse tech. David was just looking at a meme the other day that was I'm old enough to remember this, and it was the picture of you having to take the mouse ball out and clean it. Remember those? Yeah. Things progress. Things progress. And I'm going to put 2 drops of water into this the off-white mixture, 1 for each drop of pure white. And that's just a starting point. If I'm going to be layering highlights, I actually probably need more water than that to thin the pure whites. There's our colors. See, now I feel like I maybe don't have enough gamma, but I guess that's close. It's close. Peachy Flesh is a little more vibrant than you're seeing. It's a little washed out on the palette, but that could just be the palette, it being in frame. Yeah. I'm trying to fine-tune my display monitor so it looks exactly like all the miniatures. And for the most part, it's very close. All right, so that white actually didn't take it up quite enough. I think I'm going to add another drop. I really want an off-white. I always use wired mice. I didn't like the one unwired mouse I ever had, so I just always use the wired. I mean, partially, I guess not really. I'm not really gaming most of the time, although my gaming system does have a wired mouse, but I just like wired mouse better. But yeah, the battery thing is probably at the root of it, right? You never know when it's going to go out. And it just seems easier to deal with the wire, which isn't really that much of a pain in the butt anyway, for the guarantee that the mouse is going to not suddenly stop working in the middle of something important. See, and I'm not a Minecraft person. All right, so we've got those colors. Now that's much closer to off-white. I'm going to probably have to thin it quite a bit. I might not have to because if I'm putting on really tiny highlights, it's not going to be that disruptive to have them be unblended. So it really depends on how this comes around. So I'm going to grab my Peachy Flesh and see what I can do. Well, it's not his fault. I mean, it's just like any scientific degree that you got ages ago. If you don't put the effort into keeping your information up to date, you know, look at if you got a genetics degree 50 years ago versus genetics now, where they can, you know, sequence the genes and, you know, just get in there and find, you know, look at everything, and it's like it's night and day, right? And it's just the way the technology works. So the best veterinarians I know keep very, very up to date on all the current science because they understand that things change every day. The more people, the more they find out. No work, awesome, Richard. I wish I had no work. I have work today, but I've set myself up to have a pretty simple day by working a lot yesterday. So today we will have, if you are a patron, today we will have a new Fundamentals of Miniature Painting video. I took, it's a how to work with green stuff video. I think it actually turned out really well. I'm very happy with it. And we did it on this Kraken from Dungeons and Doggies, or Animal Adventures, as it were. So just showing how to green stuff over mold lines. It has all those simple tips about working with green stuff that I normally talk about on these streams, but all in one handy place. And I do a pretty good job of like just showing what I'm doing, and I use 3 different types of tools, and I talk about like when to use them. So it's a very basics primer for people who have never touched green, but I think it's gonna be useful. I do feel like I need a little bit thinner paint here. I can also glaze if I decide that the marcation here is a little bit too abrupt. I can always glaze to smooth it out. It depends on, yeah, that'll be up today's layer. And then my previous video, the prep work video, will go live on YouTube for anybody who has friends who aren't patrons. You'll be able, or if people on the stream here are not patrons, you'll be able to see that previous one then. That's kind of how I'm going to do it. I'm going to try to do more than one a month, and when I put up a new one on the Patreon, I'll make the previous one public on the YouTube. So that be how it's going to go. That makes it easy for me to remember when to flip the switch on the older ones. Oh no, Cornico. Oh, continuing it, yeah. Continuing education, free dinner seminars, yeah. Most of that is completed on free dinner seminars from my pharmaceutical companies. And that's sad too. That's sad too, Quindy. I know. Actually, one of the best vets I ever knew about was my first vet for Shiloh's in Denton. He's retired. He's actually retired like 3 times, but the last time it stuck. But he started out as just a farm vet, but he loved all the advances in technology for animal care, and he was avid even into his 70s when he was still working. He was very avid about looking up whatever the new information was. Like he kept on top of things. But he also had a really reasoned attitude toward it where he was like, this is what we used to do. This is what they recommend doing now. Honestly, what we used to do will still work. Or, honestly, what we used to do won't work, and this is better. He was fantastic. He was just fantastic. I cried when he retired for good. Although he actually left us another excellent vet who is still working in Denton, my favorite vet. We were on a first name basis. When you have 4 dogs, you get on a first name basis with your veterinarian. Oh, you were a vet tech. That's right. Most of it was like that. That's too bad, Quindy. But yeah, it always amazes me the stuff that vets don't know. Like when I have to explain to a vet about why our breed needs a Holter monitor. It's like, don't you see Dobermans? Dobermans are like this too. So are Boxers. So are German Shepherds. There we go. So just little bits of highlighting, popping those skin tones just a little bit higher. But yeah, that's one thing I have to say Texas has in spades is great doctors and great veterinarians in my experience. It was a lot harder for me to find a vet that I liked out here. And even now, like, I would switch. Like, they're okay, but they're not like the care I had in Texas. And same with my human physician. It's like, oh, she'll do. All right, so we're putting this line of highlight up the temple, and that would be, if you look up here, the way the skull curves, you've got this dip behind the temple. So usually you've got like this roundedness of the skull, and you often will have a highlight going up the side here. So you can see that shadow in between, and then the skull in the front. This model doesn't have the skull protuberance sculpted. Some do, though, so keep an eye out for that. Cool, Critico. So bringing out, I am leaving a little bit, even though it's not sculpted on, I am leaving a little bit of that shadow there, and then I'm bringing in the highlight here. I've got to blend it in because the hair obviously is overshadowing part of the part of the stuff here, but I want to hit that opposing brow a little bit. Even though, and I do need to paint her eyebrows actually. Why don't I do that now? Because I'm sitting here staring at that eyebrow. I haven't done anything with it. When eyebrows are sculpted on, I'm usually somewhat surprised by them. And I'm like, oh yeah, an eyebrow. I really need to actually paint that on. So let's do that. So I've got my Wild Violet, which is a wonderful, wonderful color. If you like runic purple, you will love Wild Violet. It's just a little bit darker, a little bit more blue, and it still has a great coverage, and it's a lovely color. So 9330, do please pick that up. Let's keep it in print, folks. Although, yeah, with the paint line potentially having some changes, as we found out a few months back, pretty much just pick up what you think you want to keep. Alrighty, I am going to paint these eyebrows in. Then I'm going to bring my blue. I'm going to grab my ultramarine shadow and come in and shade them. They're very large. They're actually really clearly sculpted and easy to paint. So, but they won't show up very well, especially with the purple shadows that I've got on the skin, unless I take that shadow color and actually do some shading. So they're there, but they could be better. So I'm going to grab my shadow. Where is my ultramarine shadow? In the corner. There we go. Morning, Inara. Another gray day today, but I haven't seen any rain so far. I think we're having like 3 days of gray here. It's very unusual for us. Usually happens in winter proper. Yeah, it looks like looks like maybe some rain at 3 or 4 p.m. We're just getting this little spitty rain. We don't seem to be having a true rainy day. Makes our air quality really good though. I like that. Yeah, we're only getting like tenths of inches when it rains. Yeah. Well, that is the silly place I live. The silliest climate ever. Ridiculously good. Stole climate from everywhere else. Like, stole all the best climates. Yeah, I saw a little bit of the remake series and was pleasantly surprised that they kept they kept the soul of it. I read those books when I was a kid. I loved animal books. So I'm just mixing up a little bit of my ultramarine shadow. And we're going to use that to shade, just kind of line the underside of these brows. Okay, Crowley, we will miss you. So what do you guys think I should do for my 5-year Patreon anniversary? Have any cool ideas? Maybe that should be the Zazzle store launch. If I can get my ass together. Ah! But that means I have until January to get some things together. Throwing brushes on the floor, you know, like you do. But I'm open to ideas. Alright, so now we can see we've got this eyebrow. Let's get close. Let's see if Anne can stay in frame. So you see those purple eyebrows? We are going to try to just use our ultramarine shadow and just add that shadow right underneath it. Sophie's Revenge. I forget what Sophie's Revenge, which one that is. And I'm not like, oh, the pirate ship. Yeah, no, I don't want to do, the thing is that if it's a 5-year anniversary, it has to be something that'd be fun for me. Painting a pirate ship is not fun for me. And also, it will take way too long, and it will also take all of my resources that I could be using to do other stuff for you guys and put them all into one thing. I would much rather paint anything else, to be honest. It's just not my groove. I get it's in theme, and thanks for the suggestion, but oof. It needs to be something that I can get done in a reasonable period of time. It can't add. It's already very stressful, guys, if you think about if you were me and you look at all the stuff I have going on. So it can be very stressful. I have to manage my stress levels pretty insanely and tell myself a lot that, you know what, Anne, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter if you get it done or if you don't, just to take some of the pressure load off myself, because I put a lot of pressure on myself. So that sort of project is absolutely not on the board. No, because I have to enjoy it, Pendrake. What people seem to miss... Oh, there you go. So your eyebrows. Eyebrows. See, so that makes it a little bit... Now we can back out. What people seem to miss about the way that I paint is that I enjoy this. Painting to a super high level is not like a trial for me. It's actually like, I love it. Like, I enjoy it at a core, deep heart level. Whipping out an ed brush, to me, isn't fun at all. Like, that, essentially, I may as well just not paint. I may as well just do a different hobby at that point. That's how much it really does not make it fun for me. It was fun to watch Ed do it, but not my thing. Treant is also very large, yeah. Yeah, the problem is, it's just... Yeah, leave the trying to make the painter suffer for when Luke is on. Yeah, and that's exactly it. Here I just want to do something nice for my patrons, and it's like, do these amazingly annoying things, and I'm like, it has to be... Okay, in the Patreon, we are following the GM rule. The GM rule is that if the GM is not having fun, the game ends. The GM must also have fun. Yeah, it's just not a great sculpt compared to what people can do nowadays. I don't want to, but I don't want to add, like, that's not really, I guess that's not really what I'm looking for. Because again, if I start painting something new, I'm not going to get it done for the anniversary. It's not going to be finished. And then it's just going to become a huge, like, millstone around my neck. And I'm going to feel sad and like I've disappointed people if I don't end it, if I don't finish it. So that's the opposite of what I want to do. Pick 5 minis you like. But I always paint minis I like too, so. Oh, nice. Oh, good, Quindy. Yeah. Yeah, Daryl's a good painter. Like, he hasn't had time to do it for a long time. Like, though he has painted his 40K stuff, I'm sure, so. At least some of it, so he's gotten some practice in, but. Yeah, exactly. There's always those fiddly bits, though. There's always a challenge somewhere, Zachariah. Yeah, Dungeon Dweller Kickstarter. We're getting down to the wire, aren't we? I was going to take a look at that. Where's my cursor? There it is. Loading. It's always fun to watch. Oh, 53 hours. Woo, we're going up, guys. Think we'll hit 200K? We've still got over 2 days. I gotta look at all the tasty goodness now and decide if I'm gonna pledge. Ooh, oozes. Oh, there's the dragon. And hellhounds. I've still never been quite satisfied with any of the hellhounds I've seen. They're not what I have in my mind when I think about hellhounds. Beetles. I like the map. Oh, there's the hellhounds. Yeah, maybe we'll bust through some more goals. Cool. Neat. Well, congrats to those who pledged and helped Reaper bring this to life. I hope we get more. Hey, right now are we elite right now? I think we are. 1337, right? We are actually elite number of backers. Yeah, we're elite. We're elite just for now. If somebody else backs, we're not elite anymore. Let's bring back that 80s slang. Or I guess it was 90s or 100s. It's like 80s we didn't know what elite was. 80s we were so not elite. All right, so let's get a little bit of highlight up on the top of that brow over there just to bring it in. She's raising her eyebrow here, so it would give a little bit of a, not a line, but a little bit of a shadow there. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool. So now I've got really pale. It's actually looking, there we go. So the skin is coming up a lot. I've managed to lose a little bit of midtone on the front, but on the side we've still got it. So, and on this side we've still got it. So there we go. So though it looks very pale from the front, I think that's where I want it. And it actually looks a little bit less washed out in person. Again, I'm still trying to figure out what my best settings are on my computer. Maybe I'll mess with them a little bit more after the stream. Because I feel like it's washing out the skin tone just a little bit much. Let's see if we can get close. Well, I guess it's not when you get closer. Now we can see the forehead does get very light, but the forehead should be very light. Like that's where a lot of our light catches. It's rounded and it's really pale, usually because the skull is right under the skin there, so you have less blood, less blushing, and so you're going to have more light. So yeah. All right, so now let's get a little bit more on these arms, just a tiny tad more. But at least the face is starting to show up a little bit better next to the hair, so I'm happy. But yeah, oh. And when I need to bring in a little bit more shadow, I can bring in that purple. We've definitely lost a blend up here. Oh, that's a little better. We got the elbow. That's better. Yeah, I guess I'll have to figure out what to do. I want to do something for my Patreon anniversary. And I don't want to take on some big I've already got so many big projects, guys. You don't even know some of these big projects are not even public to you guys yet, so but they're not really for the anniversary, they're for stuff down the road. So I'm trying to just get a little bit of a shadow there where the arm bends. A little bit of a shadow. And then I can bring the rest of this arm up. Let's get a little highlight on this skin here. Alrighty, and a little bit on the shoulder here. Now we've got a lot more light on the skin and it's showing up a lot better next to everything else. I'm pretty happy with that. What's next? I have my purple open so I can work on getting this a little bit, the front of the fin here done. So let me get my Runic Glow to mix into that. And then maybe we'll get to lining some scales and doing some more highlights. So I've started making a list of crap I need for Thanksgiving to cook. Like gluten-free French fried onions, which I ordered this morning, because I don't necessarily always find them at the stores. But who wants to make green bean casserole with no French fried onions? Like, seriously? Those things are divine. It's my dad who got me into this bad habit, but I actually use them for snacking sometimes. They're so good. Does anybody else have a terrible French fried onion snacking habit? Or is it just me? Yeah, Thanksgiving has snuck up. Yeah, it was like when Andrew at CrossFit was like, and next week we're having no classes. I'm like, holy crap, is it Thanksgiving already? It's a little early. It seems like a little early this year. Tacos this year. We'll put them on salads. Yeah, I use the fried garlic chips on salads. Those are fantastic. I have to not buy them or they disappear. Yep. Yeah, that is me, Turgeon, but if I buy them near Thanksgiving, I know I need them for the green bean casserole, so I will heroically not eat them all right away. Hold on. Boop-a-doop-a-doop. There we go. So we're mixing up our tail colors. Yeah, I love green bean casserole. I make my own cream of mushroom soup, homemade, to put in it, which really, that makes the difference, folks. If you haven't experienced that sort of thing, I have an excellent keto cream of mushroom soup recipe. It kicks butt. And like, tastiest green bean casserole ever. Yeah, it's not hard. It's not hard to make a good cream of mushroom soup. I think mine are shallots and mushrooms and garlic. It's not difficult. It's really just sauteing everything until you have it at the right consistency and then immersion blending it to the chunkiness you want or non-chunkiness you want. And seasoning and stuff. All right, there we go. So we've got our 3 levels of highlight. David was sold on green bean casserole because of my green bean casserole, so we make it. I pretty much take my, because there's only 2 of us, I take my casserole, my normal like 8-inch or 9-inch casserole pan, and I put tin foil, make 2 tin foil containers in it, so dividers. And then I do the stuffing in one and the casserole in the other. And that gives us essentially enough. It's an American thing, Korniko. So essentially, the French-style green beans, so they've been julienned, mixed with cream of mushroom soup and fried onions, topped with more French fried onions, and baked. So you can see it's the soup that absolutely makes it. Like, you've got to have a good cream of mushroom soup or it's just kind of meh. Which in most American kitchens, it's meh. Because cream of mushroom soup is just like, it's easy, right? Just grab the can of soup, dump it in, mix it up, put it in the oven. But, yeah, I love pork loin roast. Her problem this year, yeah. I love pork loin roast, especially if you brush it with like herbs and honey on the top toward the end. The key to those suckers, though, is to like drench them in salt and let them marinate in the refrigerator for at least 2 days. So dry brine them and fridge them for 2 days, and then cook them. You get so much better flavor out of it if you don't already do that. It's good stuff. I mean, it does get you to eat your green beans, Kuro. It's not a low-fat meal, though. It's definitely keto friendly. And then my stuffing usually is also gluten-free and has I usually put onions, celery, diced apples, and pecans in it. And the apples and pecans are definitely something I learned in Texas. Oh God, I can't even crow. When I was a kid, I couldn't even sit next to the dish of sweet potatoes with marshmallow. Like I could not even sit next to it. I would want to vomit. So, and I had a sweet tooth, but sweet potato is just not where it's at for me. Like the very aroma of it will trigger me. I hated it. I love regular sweet potato. I especially love savory. Doing sweet potato fries in the air fryer with salt and hot pepper, like ancho and chipotle powder. Oh, they're so good. But like, so you're doing our highlights on tails here. I better get closer. So we're starting at the top. And we're doing a general highlight, but yeah, I won't even do cinnamon. Like I can't, for some reason, you mix anything that could be construed as additionally sweet with a sweet potato, and I can't do it. It's got to be a savory. Yeah, savory sweet potato. I mean, I know cinnamon is not intrinsically sweet, but for some reason my brain has that association. Yes, and I think, Turgeon, that it is most hated in the households where it is truly not like done with love. once I figured out that making my own soup base made it beyond palatable, made it amazing, I went from all right, I'll eat it on green bean casserole to oh my God, I love this stuff. And I suspect that the divisive line there is really partially that quality issue. Oh, sorry. It's like Brussels sprouts. Oh no, Brussels sprouts over here are divisive as well. I told David that, and he's like, they're not. And I'm like, yes, they are. There are so many people with love-hate relationships with Brussels sprouts, which is sad because they're so good for you, and I love them. We've created a whole bunch of different ways to do them. David's is the 5-spice Brussels sprouts when we have Chinese stuff. I'm more of a traditionalist. My favorite Brussels sprouts is herbes de Provence, and then done in the oven with red onion, red bell pepper, and then add 5 minutes from the end. You add a package of cubed pancetta over the top, and then you toss it all together at the end and eat it. It's my favorite Brussels sprouts. So good. So I am kind of blending these together here at the top because I want that to make, yeah, quality and seasoning. Yeah, for sure. Oh, sugar on sweet potato fries. Yuck. Oh, okay. Yeah, Carrie Michael. Got it. Well, you know, if you don't like them, some people just, the sulfur is just too much for them, and I get it. I was so on broccoli until I figured out how to saute it and make it tastier. My parents are not vegetable intensive, like Midwest. Just Midwest upbringing is really all I should have to say to those of you in the States who understand. So like seafood was generally not eaten, and vegetables were like peas and carrots, frozen, reheated, like serious. Or maybe a salad with mostly iceberg lettuce. Thank God my mom has at least graduated to spring mix. But it, like I said, it's a wonder I grew up as food venturous as I am, given my start. So we're just bringing up that highlight there to make a shiny tail. I think that Brussels sprouts either in the oven or the air fryer are like, that's where you got to do it. Air fryer Brussels sprouts are, then you can get restaurant quality Brussels sprouts. We do them a lot in the air fryer, but sometimes I want them softer. The air fryer tends to give them more of a crisp, but I think it also tends to dehydrate them a little bit, and so I like them a little softer, which is why I'll do my favorite one in the oven. That, and you can't really do the pancetta treatment with the air fryer because of the pancetta will fall off the sprouts and through the grates, and then it will become horrible and black on the bottom. Whereas on the tin foil in the oven, I can handle it. Yes, tahini is tasty. Yeah, that's still too sweet for me, Twisted Oma. Like, I like pecans, cinnamon, brown sugar, and maple syrup on everything else. Oh, you like everything. I don't do squash. I don't like any squash except butternut. And I actually don't know how to cook it. So I'm just like, eh. Squash, squash is to me what other Brussels sprouts are to other people. I'm just like, I gave it a chance when I went keto, and I just was not impressed, and so I didn't go back. Yeah, and that's just where I can't eat it, Twisted Oma. I get it. It works for a lot of people. But man, no thanks. No thanks. Oh. I don't know what it is about the smell when you add sweet to sweet potato, but oh my god. It's just like one of those gut reactions for me. Literally. But we always have, I normally, when I was keto, I would make custard. I make coconut custard as but you can also make pumpkin spice as my dessert option, but David loves pumpkin pie so much that we just buy a half a pie from our local grocery store. They have good pies. And we just do that. It's sad because I really like apple pie, but I just deal. Can get apple pie some other time. So there we go. So we've got that highlight, and on top of the tail, everything's looking shiny. I did lose out. Notice I went a bit blue on the top of the tail here. I think I'm going to take more of my red hues and go over some of that intense blue that I've got in there. Yeah, I don't like it most of the time either, Agent Marvel. Oh, crazy. Yeah, I guess just like sweet potato fries, like, right, Quindy? Ah, that's cool. Yeah, if you grew up with squash and you have an emotional attachment to it, yeah, and you love it, yeah, more for you. You won't have to compete with me. Yeah, what I do a gratin is turnips. A turnip gratin is a tasty, tasty thing. Because I don't usually do potato. I'm not a huge fan, and it doesn't have a lot of nutritional value. I like the turnips, though. The turnips are also lower carb, so essentially when I was looking for lower carb alternatives to potatoes, I happened upon turnips and parsnips and became friends with them. I still love parsnips. Turnips I like in the gratin. I don't like them so much roasted, but roasted parsnips are one of the great things of the world, in my opinion. But yeah, so I think I'm going to make this year, I am going to make my homemade cranberry sauce. But I'm going to make it for our Thanksgiving, and then I'm just going to freeze half of it for when David's mom comes for Christmas, because she likes having Thanksgiving for Christmas, and I'm cool with that. Like, essentially what it lets us do is for our Thanksgiving, since there's only the two of us, we'll just do a chicken. But for his parents, for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, I can actually do a turkey. So I can buy a smaller turkey and do that. And I kind of like doing that. It also lets me have a dry run practice for our Thanksgiving before I do a dinner for his parents, which is stressful to me. But if I have my dry run in place and I'm like, I've done it only a month before, I'm like, I can do this. Alright, so we minimized the blue, took the blue out a little bit on this, made it a little more red. I like that a little bit better. Terribly disappointing cranberry sauce. Oh no. Took out all the sugar. You can't do that. It stinks. It's so tart. Man, that's just an affront to cranberry sauce. Yeah, that sounds good. The broccoli, bacon, cranberry salad, and Asian marble. My cranberry sauce is interesting because it's actually a recipe I got from a friend who's it was her grandmother's recipe. But it incorporates ginger and orange zest and maple syrup. It is amazing. It's like you could just sit and eat that stuff with a spoon. With a spoon. Oh my gosh. So much better than, like, okay, in Wisconsin, here we go. Let's Midwest upbringing again. Canned cranberry jelly. Yes, you know, like the tube of it, and you cut it into slices. Nah. I'll be happy if I never encounter that again. No one takes any. Maybe she doesn't care that no one takes any but her, Quindy. Maybe she just is like, more for me. You should bring a squeezy bottle of maple syrup to the table, take some, and squeeze the maple syrup into it. Just while making eye contact would be even better. But yeah, I like my ginger, orange zest, maple syrup, cranberry sauce. It's very subtle. You get the maple on the finish a little bit. You get the orange right up front. The orange is really punchy. The orange and cranberry works really well together. And then the ginger just kind of gives you that undertone. It's really a brilliant recipe. I love it so much. Oh yeah. Yeah, the cabbage. I really like cabbage. Like, I need to do more cabbage recipes. Korniko? Yeah, I like that. That sounds really tasty. Cider vinegar is a fairly common add for cabbage recipes, I think, just because it complements the flavors. But I do cabbage for St. Patrick's Day, always. And I have a pretty killer recipe for an Asian version of like stir-fried cabbage. So for last St. Patty's, I actually adapted the stir-fried recipe to be an Irish one. So instead of black Chinese vinegar, I used apple cider, and instead of one of the other, like, instead of soy sauce, I used the drippings from the like the fluid from the corned beef cooking, and it actually turned out really, really good. Oh yeah, egg rolls. Yeah, that makes sense when you're on a limited diet, right? Bring something you know you can eat. That's what I'm going to start doing to David's board game thing with his friends, like, because they actually made a gluten-free carrot cake last time we went in honor, you know, because you can make a carrot cake gluten-free, no problem. Although I feel kind of sad because, you know, it was very, very moist, and he's like, is it done? And I'm like, well, you used almond flour, and it's a carrot cake. So you essentially threw all the moisture in the world at it. It's gonna be super moist. Plus you have no gluten to hold it together. Right? So it's gonna be crumbly. He was like thinking he did it wrong. I'm like, nope, you did it about right. You just didn't know that you should watch the amount of fluid. Gluten-free cooking is its own beast, for sure. Or baking, rather. Gluten-free cooking, pretty easy. Gluten-free baking, a little bit challenging. Oh yeah, the goddess of calories. I don't know, Julia Child was there first, dang it. Butter and wine everywhere. I can't do the wine anymore. Though I can still cook with it. But, My roast bird, my chicken and turkey recipe is Julia Child. She's the reason I learned how to roast a bird properly and actually started to enjoy it. Yeah, we watched Julia a lot when I was a kid. Dad liked her. Dad liked cooking shows in general. Which was funny because he never had much time to cook, right? Mom ended up doing it. Yeah, she loved cooking. She didn't actually start cooking until she was like 45 or 46 years old. Did you know that? She became kind of my later in life hero in a way because she had the guts to like totally remake herself at that age. Boost fat and sugar shelf, nice. There we go. So we just got a little bit of highlights down here on this part of the tail. It's nice smooth sculpt, so it's easy to make some fun curvy highlights on it. But I'm not doing super high highlights like I did up here, and I'll probably go up a little higher up here. And we've got that, so we got to go down to this part of the tail. I have to roam around. I probably have to go to the big Safeway to get cranberries. My little Safeway down the street doesn't typically have a lot of some of this stuff, but the big Safeway always has it. Yeah, they're like, you know what? This house is up for sale, and we could capitalize on this. Fair, fair. All right, let's get these. We're getting the highlights on. We're starting to see the whole tail come together, which is really nice. Some of this fin here is very flat, so I'm gonna grab some of the bottom section. I believe it's my writing club this weekend, so I'm going to be doing some novel work. I've given up on winning NaNoWriMo, but I'm still going to make progress. And if I get close, then maybe I'll do a push at the last few days. Little shiny bits. I really got into gluten-free baking and keto baking. Now, since I've gotten kind of sensitive to sugar alcohols and I can't use my erythritol, I don't do it as much. If I do it, I can't do it keto. I can do it lower carb, where I put half sugar in and use just a little bit of sugar alcohol. Then I can do it. But if I went keto these days, I would have to drop pretty much almost all sweets and tough out of my diet, except for my morning tea, because I can still have some stevia here and there. So unlikely to go keto again, but we'll see. I wasn't, but the last attack of gastro crap I had, it just pretty much taught me that I could not do erythritol like I used to. So that's out. It was fun to learn how to do keto and gluten-free recipes, because it is different. It does change the game. My mom is still around, and she bakes the best toffee. She just does that for Christmas for everybody. She just makes her toffee and just sends it to us in batches, because mom's toffee is freaking amazing. Everyone I have introduced it to, and in order to be introduced to it, I must care greatly about you, because I only offer it to the people I love the most, because there's a finite amount of it, and it's too good to give away to just anybody. That everyone who has tried it has been like, does your mother have a recipe for that? But it's not. It is a pain in the butt. She's just really good at it at this point. She knows exactly how to make it. So she just spends a lot of time in December or late November making batches of toffee. There we go. So remember, on the back of this, we want blocks of light. We don't want strands. So we want to make a solid highlight, but usually make it more like barbell shaped. Bring the lines up on either side, or make it a chevron curve kind of thing, depending on the shape of the surface. Yeah, it's really sweet. I'll just have it in little pieces with the toffee. But I'm unwilling to stop eating it entirely, because one, it's like my mom's gesture of, I love you, have some toffee, and two, because it's too damn good not to eat. I probably should get her oh yeah. Yep. Only used for toffee. Yep. Because it's persnickety. It's really persnickety stuff. I totally get it. There we go. It's very shiny. I feel like I'm still lacking a little bit of shiny up here. All my relatives have had recipe cards. My older relatives, they all used recipes, even if they had it more or less memorized. Once they had it memorized, but the recipe was still there. They were just working from memory. I like cookbooks. I think cookbooks are a good thing. I just got a new one. It's I got it right after we came back from Hawaii. It's a Hawaiian cookbook. I'm kind of excited to try. Nice, Agent Marvel. That's nice. It's really cool when you get told that. All right. I want to do a thing here. I'm going to see how successful I am at this thing. First, though, I want to see my ultramarine shadow makes a good liner for this void blue that I started with. And we just want to kind of run it along the blue sections. So once again, painting scales is really good practice for lining. You want scales that are lined up next to each other so you can do the lining, but it's a good repetitive motion to train your hand to do lines. So that actually did outline all those little scales, and it was super fast. Boom, because it's crisscross. It's just the super easiest thing. But now I want to try something. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I'm going to try it. And that's going to be the true iridescent effect. So we're bringing it down to purple. And we're only going to do it on the bottom. It's going to kind of feel like a reflection of the tail here, and that's fine. Got to still leave enough blue, so I may need to actually creep my blue up a little bit as I move on with this model. Now we're going to take our highlights and bring it up a little. The first time I did this is still my color scheme, although I haven't worked on them for ages, was Close Your Eyes If You Hate GW, was this. This is my non-iridescent Eldar, and the purple is right here at the edge. You can see it, and it goes up to that. So this is the color scheme that I had. That's why I grabbed this guy out of my storage case. This is the color scheme that I had in mind for this model from the beginning. I think Eldar should be pretty. I'm going to do a little bit of a highlighting here. Broccoli in the work microwave. Oh, that's terrible. The smell. So as I move along with this, I'm going to make my highlights a lot smaller. I just want to get that little bit of purple sheen at the bottom. Now, I've never made pecan pie. That's my dad's favorite. He usually makes one. But David doesn't like it, so... And it's never been my favorite. I love a good apple pie. It's my favorite for all the time and eternity. When our local bakery switches to apple danishes in the winter months, or the fall, that's my kryptonite to make my willpower save. So I'm just going to bring up a little bit of that really light highlight here. I'm going to use this as underpainting and bring a more reddish purple over the top. So that I can bring that color up a little stronger than it would go over the blue. The filling isn't tremendously liquid, but I always blind bake to just be safe in Ara. Like, because it's really more of a gelatin, but it still has, it's still fluidy when you put it in right before it sets. So, yeah, I always blind bake just out of a, like, just in case. I don't see a reason not to blind bake, essentially. Yeah, the best, they make a great apple. They also do a great pineapple coconut Danish, and then the other one I really like from them is the passion fruit Danish they do. Our local baker is pretty amazing. So I'm going to take that really light color and I'm going to just brush a little bit of my original Wild Violet over it to utilize that underpainting to just give my Wild Violet a little more punch, so that I can have that purple color under there. Just a little. Yeah, I would blind bake. I think it just it covers your butt at that point. And since we have this weird, like, just like on a scaly surface here, I'm probably going to have to paint it. Paint it as if it has scales, so I'll have to get out some walnut or something. So get that purple effect in there as well. There we go. Just a little bit of that purple suggestion just to offset everything. I'm going to go and just take some walnut and paint a scale pattern over that blank space. I don't know what the blank space is or why it is, but maybe it's molding. But it needs help. We're going to help it. So I need my walnut. I'm going to put that walnut right next to my ultramarine shadow. Maybe I'll do a blend of both, since I used ultramarine as a liner for some of these scales. So I've got 2 tiny little drops of walnut there. And I'm going to grab a big brush full of my ultramarine shadow and pop it in there to make it more of a blue-black. I'm going to do another one. There we go. Now it's a cold black with a bluish hue. I mix these colors a lot. I used to mix them tons to make my own black, walnut plus ultramarine shadow. Makes a very organic painter's black. It was actually the basis for Dragon Black. This morning I made chocolate mint tea because I have a chocolate pu'er. I used to have a rooibos, but non-caffeinated teas, I just don't go for them. Kiki, look, I moved the box. Can you come up? I moved the box. Can you jump up? Why aren't you in my lap? Sorry, there's a keeker. I moved the scary box, so I was hoping I could get her to jump up on my lap. Hey, keeker. Yeah, she's resting her head on my knee right now. It's very funny. Hi there, Bubba. Hi there, Bubba. Yeah, can you come up? Can you come up? Oh, come on. No, is that not your thing anymore? Are you getting to be an adult dog who doesn't want to jump onto my lap? That's not what happens in the afternoon. That's not what happens in the afternoon. You jump up on my lap when I'm working. Yeah, for pettins, little Miss Scrufflehead. If you're going to come up, you come up? Can you? You can do it. Yeah! There we go! Yay! Win! Good girl! Yay! I gotcha! It's because I have one leg, huh? You like it when it's a full lap, because then you can put your paws between the two thighs and then you can balance, right? But instead I have to hold you when you do it this way. I have to hold you when you do it this way. Yeah, good girl. Good girl. There's my girl. There's my girl with her giant head. Oh, her giant head. Yes, the rare Kiki sighting. The rare Kiki sighting. Good girl. Mwah. Okay. You do notice my glasses. You're so funny. Okay, good girl. Yay! Good job, Keeker. Good job. Yay! People got to see you. Good job. Good girl. There, you got a Kiki. She's immense. She's 75 pounds. I don't think she's bigger. She just always looks big on the camera. Yeah, you seem bigger, but I don't think you are. I don't think you are. I think you're just giant and fluffy in general, and you don't even really need to get much bigger than this, little fuzz. You really don't. You really don't. Okay, Papa, I got another 18 minutes of work. Good girl. Maybe the camera's angle is a little different, or my chair moved or something. She's just short of 26 inches at the withers, i.e. the point of the shoulder, and she, she's 75 pounds, so she's a big dog. So I'm just going to kind of use these scales as a pattern to fix that blob. We're just going to paint in scales, and then we're going to highlight the scales, and they're going to look just fine. But yeah, so now I have to paint the bottom edges of these painted on scales to make them seem like they're standing out. I'll use my off-white actually for that. I found a place online that sells bully sticks by the box of 36. It's the same kind of bully stick we get from our local pet store. But they're about to stop their, they do a 4 for the price of 3, like buy 3, get 1 free. And apparently they just got bought out, and the new company is ending that thing. So once I have to pay full price for 4 bully sticks, I'm no longer going to buy from them. I think the corporate entity that bought them will soon learn about the basics of economics. Because I know I go there a lot. I spend a lot more money there because I can buy 3, get 1 free. Sometimes I wonder about companies that make those decisions. It's like, you're already selling like boutique stuff that's a higher price. You've got to get people some incentive to get through the door. Yeah, that's true, Richard. There's more than one day that I've actually put like little bits of stuff into my wells that I don't commonly use. Although I do wash my palette right after I use it, so that cuts down on that sort of thing for me. But if you haven't been painting, then yeah, you can absolutely use stuff, use your wells to org stuff. But yeah, so I ordered a giant box of bully sticks for Kiki, and I told David the price, and he was like, "Arr!" And I'm like, I told you she was gonna like hit the $40,000 mark that people spend on their pets, like just on bully sticks alone. So there we go. So we painted on scales, and except for the fact that I used black, so it's showing up that way, um, they look pretty good. So we can artificially highlight and shade them. So what I'll do now is I'll paint over that black with my ultramarine and see if I can blend it in a little bit. Maybe I'll just glaze. Because glazing can, if you've got too much like that, it can help to unify things. The other option is that I can take that black and I can actually shade all the way down, because it is a blue black, and I can get it down onto the bottom part, which will make it all blend in. Yeah, and the key is just highlighting the rims of them, just like you highlight the rims of each of these. That makes them look 3D. But up here I definitely need to line between the scales, so I need to grab my ultramarine again. And I need to go across. There we go. That brings out those scales a little bit. Well, I am not on for Thursday and Friday. I know that because I'm taking advantage of my proffered 4-day weekend. Can't believe it's already almost the end of the year. Where did 2023 go? I mean, at least it was a pretty good, like, in many ways, at least, it was a little better for me than previous years. I don't feel negative toward this year. Bringing in some of the shadows here, trying to get some of these scales lined. You can even use the ultramarine up into the green and teal if you use it a little bit sparingly. Yes, I will not be on Thursday and Friday for Thanksgiving. Quistodoma. Friday is when the CrossFit Club is going on that hike, and we're going to bring Kiki. So I took the offer to not stream on Friday so that we could do that. So we're going to go on a hike. Hike with the Keekster. Means you can kick back and just make tasty foods on Thanksgiving. You don't have to worry about your morning being derailed by Anne's stream. And I can also kick back and make tasty food without getting derailed. So using just a little bit of thinned ultramarine shadow just a little bit to bring out some of those scales. Yes, yay for hikes. Even though everything around here is so flat, it's at least distance. It's a rucksack hike. I don't know if I'll probably wear my pack with my water and Kiki's water, or have David carry Kiki's water. Kiki can't carry her own water yet. I don't have a dog pack for her. I was waiting until she got a little bit older before getting a dog pack for her. Then we'll get that little bit of definition around those scales so it's not just blocks. And that's what you do with a textured surface like this, ideally, is you block in your highlights and shadows, then you go in and you outline those scales so that you get some definition. But you want that overall highlight. When I was younger and a newer painter, I always made the mistake of trying to highlight each scale at the time individually, and that's not really the most effective way to do a textured surface. It's much more effective to do these generalized highlights and then go in and break them up. Then you can do individual highlights, like we'll put in some yellow highlights on these greens at the very top. But having that first highlight just set up for you to go back is a lot easier and a lot less time consuming. Right. For you, Turkey-geddon. Almost out of turkeys already. Really trash. Yeah, I'm going to go and buy. We have, I'm really pleased to see that some of the big turkey companies are putting out little turkeys now, like branded as little turkeys. Because we only need, we need an 8 to 10 pounder, right? And they actually have those, at our store right now. So I need to pick one up. They're frozen, so I can pick one up and just stuff it in our big freezer for Christmas. But since I'm doing a chicken, since just David and I for Thanksgiving for us, I'm not as worried. I should be able to find a chicken. Trash. People here are not turkeys. You missed all the good food talk, though. Everybody talking about what they make for Thanksgiving. And tasty holiday recipes in general. Yay, extra snuggle time. That's always a plus. So yeah, patrons, be on the lookout later today for the new fundamentals video on green stuff. I will be posting that up this afternoon, and then making the prep work video public to everybody on the YouTubes. And then I'll be starting to work on the pinning video once I figure out I need to choose which model I'm going to use for it. Probably one of my dark sword models. Do Cornish hens at Christmas. David's mom really likes having Thanksgiving for Christmas, so that's what I do for her on Christmas for Christmas Day dinner. The evening before, I usually do big dinners for both Christmas Eve and Christmas Day when his parents are here. Last time I did prime rib, and oh my gosh, that was awesome with latkes. This time we think we're just going to go for a tri-tip instead of the prime rib. Much as I love the excuse to buy a prime rib, and when the prime ribs start showing up in the stores, I start salivating. And I really am looking for an excuse to make one, but I don't really need all of that. So I think this year I'm going to exercise restraint and not do a prime rib. Even though I can make tasty leftovers out of it. Alrighty. I think we're pretty good there. That's a pretty good setup. We did a lot of what we needed to do. I guess I can do a little bit of scale work down here, lining these the scales all down on here, and then we can end. But yeah, so now the scales you can see they're standing out more, but we still have our general highlights and our reflective purple shadows here. Yeah, ham has never been my fave. I like pork loin, but I'm not a big ham fan. Oh yeah, you missed the horror of Quindy's family. The cranberry sauce with no sugar in it. That'll give me nightmares from here on out. Talk about mouth puckering. If she was really considerate, she'd make a batch of that, and then she would take half of it, put it aside, and put sugar in it. For the people who actually enjoy regular cranberry sauce. Yeah, there's always too much of it, and then I don't like it in sandwiches. So I'm like, that's why I just go for tri-tip, or I go for beef because I like having roast beef in like lettuce wraps and stuff like that. So, and I'm the one in this house who usually eats leftovers unless it's a weekend. David will eat leftovers happily if it's a weekend, but that's like, if we make anything earlier in the week, it's got to be me, so. There we go. So now we have more definition on the scales there. Yeah. Oh yeah, ham and potato soup, or I always liked to put ham in black bean soup. Black bean soup was like really one of my things that I did a lot when I lived in the Reaper house with Bono and Daryl. I liked making big batches of it and just eating it all week when it was cold weather time. Stretches. Oh boy, everybody stretch. Yeah, I don't do breads, so anything that I eat has got to be rolled up. So usually I just am going to eat, like, I won't eat it as a sandwich. I'll just eat the turkey reheated on a plate, Papa. Right? Reheated on a plate with some gravy if we have leftovers. Yeah. Papa says, I like turkey. I like it when there's turkey. Leftovers are my game, right? Yeah, Papas get leftovers. You got salmon last night, didn't you, Papa? That's your favorite. Yeah, you're a fish fan. I've got my big floof here. My big floof. Make chicken sandwiches. Oh my god, that's been a while. Interesting. Yeah. The Coke does. Yeah, I've heard that before. That's really cool, Trash. I've heard people using Dr. Pepper in the same way. Oh no, his work is giving everybody's frozen turkeys. Well, yay turkey? The biggest problem with the frozen turkey is that if you don't have an extra freezer like we do, what are you going to do with it? You have to use it. Right, Bubba. Right, Bubba. She is just like, you are just hanging out for pets today. You're like, Mom, you have 1 minute left. You have 1 minute before you take me for my walk. Yeah, or when I start getting ready, Papa. You're a good girl. Thump, 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 thump. I like thumping the Papa. Yeah, you're at the right weight, Papa. If I press lightly, I can feel your riblets. That's perfect. Good girl. Yeah. Yep, the Kiki clock is here. So there we go, guys. We finished the tail highlighting. We highlighted the skin. I still need to work on that a little bit. I'm not as happy with some parts of it, but we'll get there. We put the fake iridescent effect on the scales and added another dimension to those. We did the tail highlighting. We did the scale lining. We actually got a lot of crap done today if you really look at it. She's looking really shiny. Like, now the tail is done, she's really looking shiny. So now it's time to maybe start taking on that anchor, I think. Oh, I love steak. I thought I hated steak because my dad always made it like medium well or well done, and then somebody fed me a rare tenderloin when I lived out in Baltimore, and I was like, this is what steak is really supposed to be like. It was like a light bulb. And after that, it was all moo all the time. McPlant burgers. Are they good? Yeah. Every once in a while, McDonald's surprises me by doing something right. But yeah, so there we are, guys. We're looking really good. We need to also do the beer. And of course, we've got a lot of stuff down here to do that we don't want to be too distracting with. So we'll have to put our heads together. I'll probably use the same kind of straw yellow color on the ropes as I do on the beer mug spoilers. Just because repeating colors around the model, right? Yeah. Medium rare to rare. Rare for tenderloin. Medium rare for everything else. Pretty much. It's the way I cook it. But yeah. So, all right. Cool. Well, thanks, everybody. Tomorrow. I guess there is a tomorrow. Because Friday, I've got yawn attacks. I must have gotten... I feel like I got enough sleep. I just got woken up in the middle of a dream cycle or something. It's Evil Barbarian. Vampire Barbarian. And I'm still deciding on that purple crap. But, yeah, Evil Barbarian tomorrow. What we were doing his hair highlighting, which actually turned out really nice. I think I'm going to start blocking in some of this fur and other stuff around. I want to do some... I maybe want to take over and do a brown here and do purple only on small areas. I think that might work a little better. I don't like the purple here. I can deal with the purple here on the axe, but I don't like the purple on the arm guard. So I think we're going to go ahead and start working on other parts of him with that. I'm also trying to figure out, I guess I am going to make this axe steel. There is a kind of a sign that there's like a little critter's skull or something under these wraps. So I'll probably have to make that bone and make, of course, the skull over here bone. So yeah, we'll start working on working in some neutrals and spreading the colors around the model. All right. Thanks so much for showing up all, and I will see you tomorrow morning for our Friday edition. Yeah, no Reaper Live tonight. It looks like maybe 2 weeks of no Reaper Live. Y'all are just going to have to, like, I don't know, lump it? Watch reruns. All right, y'all. Thanks so much. Thanks, Quindy, for herding the streamers, and I will see you all tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.